Has Mary watched Wicked?
Yeah, her and Mila watched it. Then I got a text saying, we just finished the movie. Mila's bawling, and she wants you and Roman to come home. So we headed back home.
Was she bawling
She's
because of Wicked?
Yeah, she was like devastated that they like went different directions in different ways.
You love it when kids love a movie or when it affects them. That's cool.
Or you don't if you're the kid.
No,
No, you should. I think
it's okay.
What I tell them,
It's like
and
a safe way to feel an emotion.
we talked to them like at Wild Robot. She cried really,
Yeah.
and I was like, Mila, I'm crying too. Like so was Mary. I was like, the best movies that you watch are going to make you feel a lot of different ways. I was like, that's a good thing. And Roman's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if it's a good story, you're going to feel happy and sad and angry and scared, and it's okay. Like all that's good. Like that's a sign of a good movie. That was my attempt.
Yeah, I think you said the exact right thing. We're watching Dark Knight, and Nolan had a Joker, a bad dream last night. And Lindsay told me, I'm like, oops, who let him watch that movie?
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a guy who has mind control over Debo, and a guy who knows that playing with my money is like playing with my emotions. Martin and Brady.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm going to get you high today, because it's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
No sugar? Damn. Y'all ain't never got two things that match. Either y'all got Kool-Aid, no sugar. Peanut butter, no jelly. Ham, no burger. Damn!
This week, we're heading back to the mid-90s to revisit a true classic, a cultural phenomenon. From its unforgettable one-liners to its iconic characters, this movie gave us more than just laughs. It gave us a snapshot of life in South Central Los Angeles, told through a both hilarious and deeply authentic lens. Today, we'll unpack the legacy of Friday, explore how it redefined what a black comedy could be, and discuss why its influence continues to resonate 3 decades later. We also need to ask, who else wants a piece of Debo?
This is only the second time I've seen Friday.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, have you guys watched it a ton? Or
I wouldn't say a ton for me. I've definitely seen it a couple times.
This is my first time.
No,
I was just bullshitting. Of course it's not my first time. No.
Oh man, you had me just because I don't know, it's happened before.
Yeah, you definitely have laid the groundwork. And this is what it was all for.
The long con.
The longest of counts.
243 episodes. No, this was a movie that I actually saw because my mom said, you have to see this. She saw it first and thought it was one of the funniest movies she's ever seen and was like, you have to see it. And I was at that age like when R-rated comedies weren't really like something that, we were all in on. Mm-hmm. But my mom was like, it's too funny to not watch. She's like, I'll allow it. And I've loved it ever since. I will say that this is probably my easiestly quotable movie.
Okay.
Just because, I watched it for this viewing, and from the jump, I was quoting scenes left and right, and sitting there watching it. I'm like, oh, there's this part, there's this part, there's this part, and the characters that are in it, the way that it like all comes together, and again, even being, from the Midwest and not understanding all of the culture and cultural elements of Los Angeles and South Central, like there are still things that resonated and still things that hit, and you're just like, yeah, they did an amazing job with it.
So wait, how many times have you actually seen it? You think, or just bits and pieces through the years?
I think I've seen it. I've seen it at least 5 times. Okay. I own the DVD. I watched it for my senior year in high school. We had to watch movies in Spanish, or like telenovelas. We had to watch like several hours of Spanish television, and this is where I learned like just throw on the subtitles. I put the subtitles in Spanish so I can figure out like El Gran Gusano, it's big worm. And so just watching it.
What was Chris Tucker saying in his gibberish Spanish? Just gibberish.
Just
right?
gibberish. It just said just gibberish.
It's always just gibberish.
But yeah, I've watched it a ton of times and know it inside and out, and again, the quotability of this movie is off the charts. I will put it as the greatest black comedy of all time. And I know some people might fight me. There's other movies out there, but this one takes the cake for me.
What else is in the running, you think?
So I've heard Life is up there. Harlem Nights is another one.
Those are both Eddie Murphy?
Yeah. So both like different time frames of it.
Uh-huh.
Those are two of the ones that often come up as like the big hitters. I mean, some people might even throw Beverly Hills Cop up there. But I think, pound for pound, that this just, again, the way it was made, the people who made it, like DJ Pooh and Ice Cube wrote it.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
that's pretty crazy.
What? Like, the guy from NWA?
Right. When we did Straight Outta Compton, right? You see that he's writing the screenplay for it.
Yeah. And then they got, a little known music director, F. Gary Gray, to make it. And
I didn't realize this was his first movie.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
Pretty close. First big movie.
He did Set It Off, too. And
but that
should have been after.
Is that right after?
I think right after.
I would think a couple years after.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. 97-ish probably for Set It Off would be my guess.
I feel that 96. Yeah, 96, 97.
It's 96.
Yeah.
Didn't get to Iowa until 97.
What about the soundtrack? The soundtrack make it too?
I had that immediately. Number 4, Bone Thugs.
Yes.
Days of Our
Days
Lives.
of Our Lives.
Most of the stuff looks like music videos.
Music videos.
First song
Friday.
is like all the females. It's like Queen Latifah.
Yes.
Yeah. I still got it. Ish.
F. Gary Gray appears in this movie?
No.
Yeah, I thought he looked a little Chance the Rapper-ish.
Yes, and he does.
Very much so.
That's right.
That was when I saw him. I'm like, that dude looks like Chance the Rapper. I'm like, I think that's F. Gary Gray. I'm like, but I verified it later. But
he goes with a little Peter Berg light. He doesn't appear in all of his films, but in a good handful of them, he makes a little cameo appearance in them. But yeah, this one was just
F. Gary Gray, known for.
Oh shit! Friday, Negotiator, Italian Job. Do I have a fourth? I don't know if I have a fourth. Did he do Law Abiding Citizen?
He did. He also appears in Law Abiding
Citizen. I'm going to go with
Citizen.
those 4 because I don't know that I could come up with more than that.
So
I'm sure he's got others.
I'm going to go Friday. That's 1. I'm going to go Italian Job 2.
There's a second one?
The sequel. Fate of the Furious. I'm going to throw in there. And then I will go Set It Off.
Damn it, guys. You had it between the two of you. I really thought you were going to nail it.
Well,
if you said Set It Off instead of
Law
Abiding Citizen.
Wow.
And then you said Set It Off. So it's Negotiator, Friday, Italian Job, and Set It Off.
We should do The Negotiator because I always loved that movie.
I feel like we had done it, but no, we
haven't.
haven't.
We just talked about it.
We just talked about it.
We have to just find the right pairing. There's got to be another movie that goes along with it. But
Negotiator's really good.
yeah.
Yeah, he's had some good ones for sure. I mean, that's a solid, like in terms of entertainment value, that's a solid.
Yeah.
What 5 that we
right
or so.
And those were kind of like right back to back.
Yeah, he had a huge run, and then when he got the Fate of the Furious, I was very surprised that he was going into that universe. But
then he made enough money to not have to do anything again if he didn't want to.
yeah.
Got that fast money. Now his family. So this movie, Martin, so I definitely saw this a couple times when it was out. We listened to the soundtrack a lot. I've always loved Keep Their Heads Ringing. It just feels like it literally an all-timer. I wish there was an edited version. I would play it more like at work when I'm rolling through our hip-hop playlist. But I love that they're listening to it like kind of when they're in the car, they stop and then it picks back up and it stops. Like I liked that little. I caught that part. I think that's a cool way to go about that. Interesting to have Cube. You don't hear him actually rapping in the song. It's just Dre, but he's in the car listening to it. It's just a find that as an amusing anecdote from this movie.
In the souped up convertible Pinto,
yeah.
which I didn't even. I looked at it again and I was like, oh yeah.
So his license plate was essentially "fuck that." I feel like it would have been something about weed.
Yeah.
If I'm nitpicking, I feel like Smokey's license plate would have been weed related and not "fuck it." just my own little random observation.
If you're gonna go that far, having again just like
I like the Two Live Crew, Hoochie Mama.
Dude, the soundtrack. We listened to the soundtrack a lot.
I feel like there could have been more music in the movie.
I actually agree with that, and I think that's probably maybe something they learned from. You know, like with what was available, I think they definitely should have had more music involved.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Glad it's not just me because you guys are saying the soundtrack's great. And
no,
and it is good. There's good songs on it, but I feel like you needed more music in the movie.
Yeah. The other thing that I took away from this, and other movies have done this as well, but the fact that everything that happens is just this one day.
Right.
Right. It's everything that they see, everything that they experience is all, primarily from the front porch, watching watching life just occur.
Well, so I thought a cool tidbit, and Martin,
Ice Cube loves talking about one day. Today was a good day, and Friday.
Cube and F. Gary Gray stated they modeled the movie after Clerks.
Ah,
which, if you think about it, it really does play that way.
And Clerks wasn't many years before this.
Year before. But definitely something that I felt like was right in front of you, but never
the Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, but never really put it together.
Of South Central.
So I thought that was a cool little piece of that. Yeah. This has, besides all the people in the movie, it has a couple very small roles of people who went on to be
bigger.
Literally.
There's one of them, yes, literally bigger.
In one case. But, I mean, Nia Long obviously was young and gorgeous, and she's got the Cube relationship with Boys in the Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Is Regina King in Boys in the Hood?
I don't think so.
I don't
believe she is. I remember Regina King mostly from Enemy of the State. I know she's gone on
well after that.
I know it's way later, but
Faison Love, albeit.
Oh, she is in Boys in the Hood.
Okay, I was thinking there was a chance. It's definitely been a minute since I've seen that. Yeah. But Debo was around in this time frame, so you kind of knew Debo.
Where did you see him first?
No Holds Barred.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the movie for sure.
He was Hulk Hogan?
He was Zeus. Yes. Right, exactly. But you also have Julian.
Wait, before we move on from Zeus, do you think there's any chance that Craig could have taken Debo out?
No, the brick had to do most of the work.
That brick did a lot of heavy lifting. Why did he throw it? Why didn't he just hold and smash it?
If you're against shooting someone, that's fine. But you can still murder someone with a brick.
I would think that brick would kill him.
Like, it's still using a weapon to essentially kill somebody, theoretically. But Bernie Mac, you had rolled through.
I totally
definitely
missed him the
didn't
first time around.
As the pastor. So Megan Good.
Yes,
is the little girl who just
the blue
gets
hat.
Pushed out of the way.
She gets pushed out of the way. She's also she's the little girl sitting on Stanley's lawn in the very beginning.
So random, like she's gone on to become an actress of note, and uncredited.
Yep,
Michael Clark Duncan
was where?
Did you get? He was in the Craps game and the flashback.
At the Craps game. He's the other big guy.
He's like, there's like two dudes. I literally went back and rewatched it because I wanted to verify it. Once I wasn't
looking at him. Yeah,
you'll see him immediately. He's a humongous person. But totally did not notice that at all, and just thought that was really funny that he was just a person in in one probably a 5-second scene. But he's there.
Tony Cox. Not a big name all the way around, but I mean he's gotten some more known Yeah, Bad
Yeah,
Santa.
Bad Santa. He and I was like, is his wife somebody? She was like a Price is Right girl that Ice Cube saw. It was like, I want her.
Mrs. Parker.
Mrs. Parker.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Johnson, who played Ezal, which is such a random name to give somebody. Like,
He's the crackhead.
yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, Ezal. If you could have called him Fred. I mean,
He's a comedian.
yeah, I don't really know him, but I mean, he's obviously been in some things. Menace to Society, Players Club.
Smokey out here is taking a shit.
I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
I mean, it is funny how you could take just a bunch of scenes and a bunch of random, like you said, just in one day, nothing really that big happens, but a lot does happen.
A lot happens
and,
for sure.
And it's it's just a fun movie.
I mean, you get a wide variety. You have dudes, trying to hook up. You got dudes smoking weed. You got dudes
breaking into houses.
Yeah,
trying to get their beach cruiser back.
Being felonious. So
someone ganking chains.
I didn't pick up on this. In one of the notes I saw, which I thought was interesting because So what I read was in the beginning when Ezal's running with like speakers,
yeah.
Those are the boxes that Ice Cube was accused of stealing.
Oh.
So I didn't think crackhead did it. They said
Yes.
it looked like him from the back.
That was apparently.
But wouldn't that
Craig
happen
was innocent
the day before?
Yeah, but he had it. It was the morning. He had him in that morning.
Oh, okay.
And so I never ever correlated that, and I read that, and I was like, I wonder if that's how many people don't know that. I feel pretty good about knowing at this table.
That makes. Yeah, if I had watched this movie more than twice, maybe I would have picked up on it.
But in hindsight, you're like, in the beginning, like, what am I supposed to even think about that?
Right, you don't even know what's going on.
Right, so I guess it does theoretically connect, but I don't know. I feel like it's pretty vague.
That one's a stretch.
So Chris Tucker had a moment in this movie, and
this was his jumping off.
I mean, and then there were a couple years where he was the thing.
And they said he ad-libbed the majority of his.
Really?
What happened to him? He got Rush Hour money, and then
Rush Hour money, and then did nothing.
He did like 3 of those. Both.
Yeah, I know, but I'm asking after that. I haven't seen him in a while.
So it looks like we saw him in Dead Presidents.
Saw him in Dead Presidents.
That was actually the same year.
We did that on our soundtrack September.
Fifth Element, Money Talks.
I loved Fifth Element.
Money Talks.
The Mace Feels So Good video, no brainer. Rush Hour was 98, so that led to all that. Rush Hour 2.
That's another good soundtrack. Rush Hour.
Rush Hour 4.
Rush Hour 3. 5 years later, does Silver Linings Playbook.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
Air was the last.
11 years later, does Air.
Yeah.
And in there, did the Tito Jackson Love One Another music video.
There's a Michael Jackson video.
There's a gap.
In there too.
I'm just asking them to explain the gap.
Yeah. No. Explain the gap. He got rich.
Yeah.
I think he got comfortable not working.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Doing whatever he wanted to do.
I feel like maybe
Would be my hunch.
The whole Chris Tucker persona got played out a little bit.
Oh,
too,
I don't doubt that
perhaps.
was he wasn't going to do Air actually was a veer.
Yeah.
And it had been a long time.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think Silver Lining was also a veer too.
yeah, fair.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I barely
he was
remember
much.
him in Silver
Yeah,
Linings.
he was Bradley Cooper's friend.
Yeah.
And just like I think they met in rehab in that movie. That's how they met each other, but
he wasn't the over the top.
no, he wasn't. He was more subdued
And that's where I think
But he's got all the quotes.
and they said he ad-libbed almost his whole entire
Like you were
dialogue.
saying, it's one of the most quotable. I mean, we just did recently one of the most quotable movies of all time, Casablanca.
Interstellar.
and this is another one, right?
Yeah.
With different stuff, but yeah, I mean, as I was watching it, I was definitely people say that all the time.
Yeah.
And the whole Bye Felicia.
Well,
thing,
the Bye Felicia
it does come from this, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
it's Craig.
And it's
Right.
but that's I would say has had the most life because it became an entire thing.
Yeah.
and much later, right?
Very later.
Very, and I don't know why it had a resurgence. necessarily.
I was hoping you guys would be able to clarify that. Lindsay and I were talking about it because she watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, I don't know why that because I didn't even know immediately when the like viral.
She
moment
swears
happened.
her friends, one of her friends was saying it in like 2004 or something like that. So I'm
it's
like,
possible
okay, 10
that was
years
almost a decade after the movie.
no, I know, but I mean, like, but I didn't think it was one of the. I'm like maybe people have been saying it the whole time, and I just didn't know. But I feel like it's been the last like 5 years.
I definitely think it would, for whatever, I don't know why, but it definitely had a moment and became a thing again. And it was like, and I was for sure like, where's that from? That's from Friday. I was like, oh, okay, because it'd been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah. I could not tell you what. Again, I don't think anybody knows.
When I knew it was coming, I was like, here it is.
What causes these things to pop back up? But
yeah, right. Yeah.
It was great hearing it again, right?
Well, and his son says it in Straight Outta Compton. When there's like a girl leaving the hotel room.
That's right.
He says the Bye Felicia line. So I mean, there's a
homage. Gray directed as well.
Yes. So it's a thing, right? And that's fine. Totally cool that they young Cube definitely looks a lot like O'Shea. Like O'Shea. Yeah. Now you see Cube, he's got like a painted beard, and he's looked the same for quite some time. But man, young Cube looks like young O'Shea. For sure.
For sure, yeah. I think it's also funny that this movie, like pops up in all the memes and the GIFs and all that stuff. Like, it's again a movie that's almost
you're gonna live with GIF.
You're not a GIF guy?
I'm not a GIF guy. I like a GIF.
GIF guy.
I mean, you're just wrong.
I don't know. I think it is both. It's not wrong. It's just wrong for us.
I mean, sorry, it's not peanut butter.
It might be. They stick around. But yeah, I just think it was great, and the guys that DJ Pooh and Ice Cube pulling it together, letting Chris Tucker just cook, right?
Yeah, you got knocked the fuck out, and you know this, man.
Exactly.
I mean, there are two that people say all the time, and I know I do say, nobody go in the bathroom for 45 minutes, and I don't know. It's funny.
I mean, the dad is so Witherspoon is so like over the top. And
he's great.
I remember. Yeah, not really laughing that much when I watched it in '95 or whenever I watched it in '96 maybe. But then this time around, I'm like, I wish my kids listened to me just rant and yell at them whilst taking a shit. Make him close the door.
I smelled your shit for 22 years. Yeah, you can smell mine for 5 minutes.
I do not command that kind of respect in my house.
I don't want to.
I mean, I'm outside of the show. I'm joking about that, but I mean, like, I would just love for them to listen to me just rant and rave about how they're doing everything wrong and just not talk back. I was like, man,
different time.
That's some respect. Yeah, different time.
I noticed it while I was watching it. Definitely not something I necessarily picked up on early in the 90s when I was watching it, but I noticed that Chris Tucker was in all blue the whole time. And then after the fact, one of the notes I saw was they filmed it in the territory of the Crips, and they forbid anyone from like involved in the movie to wear red at all. But he is in straight blue hat, blue shirt, the entire day. I'm like, it definitely caught my eye.
Safety precautions.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you need is to cause a problem. And there was also a note that the clothes that Cube's wearing at the beginning and end of this movie are the same clothes he wore at the end of Boys in the Hood.
Oh, okay.
Like the flannel.
The flannel.
Yeah, so.
That's another thing I don't understand. But again, that's Los Angeles culture. Like, assuming this takes place in like the summer.
You think it'd be hot?
They're all wearing flannels in the summer.
He's wearing flannel.
Yeah, and Debo is too. They're fighting in flannel shirts. I'm like, I would be sweating my ass off.
Right.
I'm sweating currently while in sub-zero temps.
But yeah, it's again, it's just iconic. It's an iconic film, with the characters and, seeing the different scenes, seeing how they all interact. You got so many different storylines that all loop back to, Craig waiting on the phone, having to like wait and watch not only the windows, but then seeing what happened with Miss Parker and the pastor and, trying to catch everything going on at the same time. But, it's all going down, and there's just so much happening. Again, like you said, it's from one stoop, one point of view, and one day. You know,
I definitely read somewhere where Cube wanted to present life in, you know, the hood, the area where F. Gary Gray grew up. His house was actually in the movie, but that it wasn't the Boys in the Hood life only. Right. Like it's like there might be some like exposure to guns and drugs and whatnot, but ultimately, like, there's also funny shit happening.
Yeah,
and people are just living
still
their
just
life.
a neighborhood like anything else.
Right, exactly, and that was kind of a huge motivation for the movie itself to be portraying that.
And I think that it's part of the reason why it had so much success, because it wasn't just, you know, one slice of view of life like in The Boys in the Hood, right? It was suburbia, right? You had a guy who moved over and wants nobody to walk on his grass. You had, you know, people with marital strife. You had, you know, just people people just
fucking the bastard
trying to go to work. You got two working parents. You know, it's like, listen,
who want their kid to get a
right,
job.
Get a job, and if you're not going to get a job, you got to go back to school.
But also not leave the house.
Craig's got no game. Your father's got game. Oh, man.
And then you got, you know, I don't want to call it a teen sex comedy, but you got like Smokey trying to hook up and Craig trying to hook up. Right. More like Freddie Jackson.
I won't call. If you come around, I'm not going to call you. So don't ever come around.
That's funny.
But yeah, again, it showed multitudes, right? It showed multiple views of life in Los Angeles, South Central, and, you know, it wasn't the stereotypical everybody's in a gang and everybody's always shooting each other up. It was like, no, these are people who are going to work, doing their job, trying to live their life. And, you know, Pops even says that when he's like, listen, like, we wouldn't have moved here if we thought you had to walk down the street with a gun. Like, he's like, that's not how this works. Like, you don't need that. Don't go down that path. He's like, your uncle went down that path, the life lessons, right? Like, he lost his life, you know, doing this. Like, I don't want you to go down that same path as well. So
I really liked his dad in this, and Pops in this. He's just great in the way he's like, nope, I taught him better than that. He's gonna get back up, you know, fight another day.
Yeah. And then, so the one question I had at the end of that was, so after Debo gets knocked out, and everybody, you know,
he got knocked the fuck out.
He got knocked the fuck out.
Please get it right.
Red comes up and steals his bike back.
Yeah.
How did Red get there? Because Red drove away in the car.
Everybody's just around.
when Red runs off, I was dying.
He's going to cry in the car.
But yeah, everyone got what they needed back from Debo, right?
Red must have been just down the street. He had to be.
Yeah.
Because
he's in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So he heard some ruckus going on.
I remember the Iowa game, Iowa versus UConn, and I think it was Dan Hurley got so upset, like, with one of the calls that he was like biting his lip trying to
Iowa didn't play UConn with Dan Hurley.
No?
Dan Hurley's the current coach.
Right. Didn't they play a couple years ago in like a tournament?
I don't think so.
Not the tournament, but in a tournament. There was a game,
a bloodbath like
the women.
There was a game where Dan Hurley was coaching, and I remember it made national news because he was like on the sideline getting pissed, and he was like biting his lip, like trying to hold back like whatever anger. And I just remember like somebody tweeting out like, he gonna cry in the car on the way home. But yeah, again, that's another, you know, plays into the culture. And then, you know, when they when Red takes his glasses off, and they all, damn.
Yeah, I will tell you,
it's a beach cruiser.
I didn't. This is the 44-year-old in me. I was like over Chris Tucker, like on the rewatch. His shtick kind of wore on.
Well, that's
me.
why I was asking, because I was like, he seemed to have went away.
It's legendary, for what it was. But
and at the time,
it definitely wore on me as I was rewatching. I don't mind saying.
Yeah, it didn't bother me as much as but I get what you're saying, and that was kind of why I brought that up, because yeah, it's too much. But at the time, it was you never met a character.
No,
like that.
he's completely over the top,
completely original, completely fresh kind of take on that kind of character.
I was watching it and I was thinking, does this play in 2025 if weed is legal?
Yeah, not as much. No,
Yeah.
There's lots of movies like that, right? Like where it's just a completely different world now.
Like it would have to be like a gambling debt or something like that, right? Like even that though, I probably would play. Like you don't have the same level of strife, the same level of like anxiety because
anything. I mean, they're you're people calling.
Why
on the
did
house.
it take so fucking long? Why did it take forever? For it to be legal now?
Oh,
because it just changes the whole landscape of this stuff.
some places
people can't get money off of it. That's why.
Well, yeah, the government. You mean
Right.
Why is that's a wormhole that we don't need to go down right now.
No, you know what?
Save that for Interstellar or the book you're reading. Figure out that wormhole.
Nice.
Have you guys seen the other ones?
I've seen
Next
Next
Friday.
Friday. Is that with Epps?
Yeah,
Yes.
I definitely saw Next, and I think the third one.
Friday After Next?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
I've
as
not
well.
seen that one.
Yeah.
Is one of them in the suburbs?
Next Friday is.
Oh, okay.
In the suburbs.
I definitely saw the suburb one, but I didn't know if that was next Friday
And then
or the third
Friday
one.
After Next, I think, is around Christmas time,
Yeah.
but also in the suburbs.
Ooh,
I
Next
don't-
Friday has a 22% on Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
I don't love those, but there are people that do. That think they are some of the funniest movies they've ever seen. But I will stick with the original.
Yeah. Friday After Next was 2002. 26 went up a little bit. 26% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I was looking up DJ Pooh, and he co-wrote the film Friday, directed the films The Wash and Three Strikes, and co-produced the video games Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto Online, and Grand Theft Auto 5. Feels like there might be some sneaky money from co-producing those video games.
You think so?
I don't know what people get paid for this shit, but those feel like crazy to have on the resume.
Yeah. The Wash is a remake. That's the remake of Car Wash.
Feels like I saw
Casablanca?
No, not Casablanca. But that was Snoop and Dre.
Well, they linked with Wikipedia linked to the Wash. Because apparently it just took me to a shallow, natural, rectangular bay and multiple estuary on the coast of England.
Hey, for when we do the Rotten Tomatoes challenge of 10 and below, we could use The Wash
The
because it
Wash.
has 8%.
We are overdue for that. That's
We
for
are
sure.
overdue for that. But that's wild. It's a remake of what? Of Car Wash?
Car Wash.
Is that like a 70s movie?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's got a great soundtrack.
I think I
Car Wash.
remember. Oh, it's Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bill Duke and
Dr.
George
Dre and
Carlin?
Snoop.
Maybe I don't
Yikes.
think I have seen this
This
movie. I
gotta
should
be
watch
bad.
this.
Yeah.
It's got to be real bad.
Dre is
The
not a
Wash
great
is
actor.
probably bad, but yeah, Car Wash looks like it
Car
might
Wash
be all right.
is decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snoop's a better actor than Dre.
Dre's no good.
I don't think Dre was good at a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. He needs to just stick to making
Sure
beats.
could drop a beat.
He's on the beat side because he was not great in Training Day. Snoop was better in Training Day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is I think a movie that just kind of opened the eyes to people of Hollywood that said, hey, we've got an untapped resource here, and the Black community, and they can
sure.
make a movie for I don't even know what this movie was made for, but I guarantee it wasn't a lot, and it did really well.
Yeah.
And then obviously because we were talking about F. Gary Gray getting some of these bigger roles or bigger movies, being able to lead different franchises and take off on his own.
IMDb's got the budget estimated at $3.5 million, and opening weekend it did $6.5 million.
Yeah.
And worldwide 28.2.
Okay. So, I mean, it's
But
when you
things
think
were a little
relatively-
different. In '95, things were a little bit different on the movie side.
Right.
So, that's
relatively
all relative.
speaking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. If a movie makes its money back,
It made its money back. It almost Almost. It was pushing doubling its budget on the first weekend.
Yeah.
So
you get that, and then plus they're not counting like DVD sales and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know that I have a copy, my sister has a copy, my mom has a copy.
Oh, in that case, it must be a popular selling DVD.
If 3 people have a copy.
3 people in the same family have it.
I was a big fan of Ice Cube movies. Trespass. You guys ever see Trespass? 92?
I don't remember.
That was probably the first movie I saw him in.
He's in Anaconda, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was later.
Later.
On, right? Yeah, Boys in the Hood was first in 91, then Trespass in 92.
Higher Learning.
CB4 in 93.
I loved Higher Learning.
You've seen CB4?
I have seen
Chris
CB4.
Rock.
Chris Rock.
And I've seen that
Low
as well.
Cash.
And then, I don't know what The Glass Shield is, if that's a movie. And then Higher Learning was in 95.
Nobody knows.
Right. And yeah, Anaconda was, it was against 97.
Wait, you said Higher Learning was 95?
Yeah.
Same year as this? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Williams.
And then a movie I love, Three Kings.
Oh, yeah.
He
We're
was-
overdue. That's
I
one we
love
should
Three
definitely
Kings.
do.
That was his
Clooney, Wahlberg,
start.
and Cube?
Yeah.
Spike Jones.
I would say that was his start?
David O. Russell.
That was the start of like more dramatic.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, like, yes, Boys in the Hood and all that was dramatic, but I think
he's got some comic relief in that, though.
yeah,
There's-
probably.
There's a little bit of comedy, but there's it's a really good movie because it
I remember
hits on
it
all.
being such. Yeah.
I remember the valve in the lung. Or they just have to keep turning it to let the gas out so he can breathe.
Yeah, but Ice Cube's, I think he's a good actor.
He's definitely done
Triple X,
shit.
they did the Union.
Oh, I
He's
don't
definitely
think I've seen
done
that
a
one.
lot. Like,
Ghosts of Mars.
all things considered, where he came from, like where he started.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Big 3.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
That was really great.
Birthing O'Shea. He's done some things.
Oh, Junior,
Yeah,
Fair.
Well,
because he's O'Shea too, right?
yes, but I don't think that need to be said.
He's just He's just cute.
He's just cute.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you guys catch the fourth wall moment?
Break. Yeah.
A couple times.
Couple times.
with
I think.
the ice cube.
No.
He dropped
Yes,
the ice cube
dropped
for
the
his
ice cube.
dad's water. Then he like looked at the ice cube and like looked at us.
Oh, I didn't realize that was what it was about. I thought it was just, should I give my dad this dirty ass ice cube?
Yeah, but
There's also
Also-
that. Yeah.
But he broke the fourth wall a couple times.
And then
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the end with the
the ice cube
with
moment
Nia, right?
is a little bit different.
yeah, he
Nia
broke
Long.
it there,
Yeah.
but he also broke it when Nia Long's coming out of the house and Joy pulls up
Yeah.
and he like looks at Joy, he looks at Nia, and then he looks at the camera.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's another one. I think it might be
He
with
basically invented The Office.
pretty much. I think there's another one where he breaks the fourth wall with like when he's smoking, not when he's high, but like when something happens when they're sitting out front and he like breaks and looks. And I think it might have been with Felicia, but it's more than once. I can tell you that much.
Okay, yeah. I believe you.
As always, bye, Felicia. But don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Thanks, and go to bed.